Hi everyone, and welcome to another session of Dreamtime with Danielle. Tap, tap. There was hair in my mouth. I'm Danielle, and I've brought you another dream. And yeah, the pink notebook is back because I found it. Sometimes I lose notebooks. Most of the time, I find them behind my bed. Why does this happen? Because I sleep with notebooks on my bed, and I tend to thrash around in my sleep, and then they fall behind my bed, and I won't find them for months. Somehow I seem to forget that I put them there, and then I'm like, where did this go? And then when I find them under my bed, I'm like, oh yeah! The story of the pink notebook. So here we go. Here's the dream. I dream I must have a key to enter an establishment. I get my hands on two. I try the big fancy one first, and then when it doesn't work, I try the regular looking house key instead. I walk through the doors into the back, and it's my old job at Edible Arrangements. I see my old coworker, and she is stressed because she has a family engagement and asks if I can cover for her. When I say yes, she takes off. And when I see my old boss, I say, guess who's back? A young girl appears and asks if I can change her dollar into quarters for the meter. I am trying to open the cash register, but technology won't acknowledge me. And that's the dream. Let us find some chalk. So, we have two keys to start with. One is big and fancy, and the other one's a regular looking house key. Let's go. Here we have two keys. One is old and fancy. The other one is modern and exact. So keys have a lot of representation, but as a function, they open doors or locks or cars. But the key's primary function is to unlock something. Without that function, the key becomes more of a decoration, an ornament, a piece of jewelry. Keys look beautiful, but until you find what they open, it becomes a mysterious enigma, like, what does this thing do? Well, what does this thing open? So it can also be curiosity, and in the dream I am curious. I try and I use the big fancy key first, of course I would, because it's big fancy and it's old, and I want to see what this big old fancy key opens. Spoiler alert, not the doors in my dream, but that doesn't mean it doesn't open something. The key that I end up using is this modern key, which is telling me automatically we have like a past and a present situation happening here. Let's put that down. Just look at that face. And what you gonna do? Past, present, because this is a modern key. Modern keys, in my experience, modern keys can be made rather basically and duplicated the same. They don't have to have decoration, but you can get a key ornamented or decorate your keychain. The point of this is that they're still not made with the flourish of the keys of yesteryear, which would have their own identity and their own calligraphy even. The teeth of these keys are also different. This old-fashioned key has very blocky teeth, and the modern key has much more jagged teeth. Well, a key as a symbol represents a key. And remember, not all keys are physical. A key could be a clue. It could be some mysterious answer. A riddle often needs some type of key. A password is a key. But the point is, keys. I have them. So this is symbolic to me. It's dream me reminding, waking me, hey Danielle, you've got the keys inside. Keys. And then I do find the doors that this key, hold on. Let's circle the key that worked. So even though the decorative key was cool, it was the modern key, the modern and basic looking key that worked and opened the door. And the doors that they opened turned out to be to the past, because now I'm stepping into a job that I worked circa 2010. So this is a decade ago now. I was working at an Edible Arrangements. Aw, want me to dip some fruit? Because I can. Memories. Who knew chocolate dipped apples were so good? Edible arrangements knew. So the keys open up doors to my past, even though there are keys in the present. This could mean it's time for me to look at what was going on in 2010. So much. But not as much as in 2020. Apocalypse year. In 2010, while I was working this job, I was in college. I experienced my first couple of heartbreaks while working at this job. Why do I remember? Well, one day I remember weeping over the strawberries, and another day I remember weeping into the chocolate vats. Okay, well, not into. Water corrupts chocolate, so don't do that, folks. But definitely whilst dipping chocolate, I was blubbering. So, it's ingrained in my memory. But it's also sentimental and sweet. Like, oh, Danielle, don't worry. It'll be fine. It really, really, really is for the best, sweet thing. If I could talk to Danielle of yesteryear, that's what I would say. Baby girl, you're doing great. You're gonna do so many cool things. Okay, edible arrangements. I mean, I can't really draw the establishment. In fact, while I was having this dream, I didn't dream of the details of that job. All I really remember are high ceilings, like high, tall space. This is not what the job was like at all. It was a kitchen with stainless steel tables and fruit stamps, so you can stamp out a flower out of pineapple, so that you can quarter a melon into eighths. That's right, quarter a melon into eighths. Math! Stainless steel sinks, a big old freezer. None of that stuff was actually in the dream. But I see the old coworker. How did I see her? I think her back was turned to me at first because she was busy working. Okay, so let's talk now about people in dreams. People in dreams represent multiple things. They, one, represent how you see that person, and two, they represent you as that person. So if this person is showing up in a dream, they're showing up in a dream with the qualities that are trying to talk to you. So, my coworker was overworked and she was missing a family event because of her dedication. She was very dedicated. I had a lot of fun with this coworker. I hope she's doing well. So she asks me if I can cover for her. I do not work here anymore. I haven't worked here in a decade, but sure, let's do it. So we swap out. She goes off to go see her husband and kids and her brother and sister and all those people. And I stay behind, and I'm like, well, how hard can it be? I know how to dip fruit. I know how to stick a skewer into a melon. I got this. Next, I see my old boss, who was not a very good boss, but was not a bad person, but he was also not a very clean person. And I remember I would micromanage anytime he stepped into the kitchen because I was so alert of hygienics. I had to be. Because this is food. This is food, and it's cold food. It's not going to get cooked. Okay, so I have a lot of emotion when I think back on him. So what does this tell me? There's a negligent part of myself. Well, I'm thinking about it. He did not wash his hands often enough at all. Pandemic 2020, I wonder how he's doing. I'm sure he's fine. Well, when I see him, I almost tease him because he did not like me very much as a person, because I was very demanding. And I was very demanding. I kept demanding that he wore his gloves, that he would wash his hands, that if he was going to touch the food, he was going to follow the strict orders. I was on his ass. But he did value me as a worker. I was one of his top salespeople. I was excellent on the phones and with helping to upsell. That was the word. Helping upsell an arrangement. And it wasn't even because I was trying to upsell. It was simply because I knew what would make one of these food stuffs tastier and more decadent to look at. So from that perspective, he valued me, but he didn't like me, which tells me this is a part of myself that values me, but maybe doesn't like me very much, and is also a boss, but not a very good boss. Look, I'm learning to be the boss of my own life. I'm learning to be the boss of my own business that I'm creating as a creator. And what have I learned? I've learned it's hard. I learned that there's a lot of nitty-gritty details that I do have to stay on top of to make this business work. And I've also learned that I don't like doing it, but it's got to get done. So maturity, sure, there's definitely a need for me to mature in that spectrum to be a better boss to myself. And then the version of me talking to him, guess who's back? I mean, I do love to tease. I love to tease. Not to harm, but to tease. Oh, you know what else? The fact that I just took on the job so easily really emphasizes my personality trait of people pleasing, which I continue to learn and hopefully to grow from. But I definitely was raised as a people pleaser, trying to figure out, how can I please this person? How can I please that person? Did it always work? No. But was it very useful? Yes. Especially in stress management or in pacifying a situation, just figuring out what people needed and getting it to them. That's a skill. But learning when and where is more important. That is also a skill to be developed. And then my old coworker, as I mentioned, overly dedicated. Not that she's overly dedicated, but this job was essentially a meaningless paycheck. It was not even her main job. It was a side job that she had picked up when she needed it, and she didn't need it anymore, but she didn't want to leave it behind because it was fun and convenient, but also inconveniencing her. So what to me is a job that I don't really need, that is fun, but inconvenient? Think more on that later. Okay, and then the computer, right? So this chick comes in. That's right, it's a crissy-crossy zigzag laptop computer, because this is a dream, and that's my doodle. So this chick comes in, and she's like, hey, I need change for $1 for this meter. Can you help? And I'm like, oh, all right. But whenever I click, the computer is like, does not compute. Does not compute. I do not acknowledge you, human. I do not acknowledge you. I guess that's what it was. It was frozen. I couldn't click the button that was open cash register. Funny, because I have these two keys, right? But neither of them are for the cash register. Oi. But what I really needed was to change. I needed to change $1 into quarters. So I had to transform one item of a certain value into different items of a matching value. I mean, there is like deep internal stuff where Dream me is like, Danielle, you need to change, and I'm clicking and I'm like, I'm trying, but something is not computing, and now I've confessed too much to my crowd. I think we're all trying to change, and we're all implementing changes that in the long run will make a difference, but on the day-to-day maybe are frustrating or not working or we don't like. So really it's about finding the changes that work for us as individuals and that work for how we want our lives to look. How do you want your life to look? How do I want my life to look? Well, I know for one, I would love to go outside and see my friends. Wear a mask. Oh shoot, just remembered I have to contact someone. Okay everyone, on that note, this has been Dreamtime with Danielle, in which I time traveled a little, confided in you, my viewer. Thanks. If you have dreams that you would like to discuss, be sure to reach out. Information is down below. I hope you enjoyed yourself here today, and I'll see you next time here at Dreamtime with Danielle. Yeah! We would also chocolate dip grapes, but that was only for like a special highfalutin arrangement. Have you ever tried edible arrangements? What do you think? It's been a decade now, so I guess they've gotten fancier, I guess.